do it this time?
What do we say? Like, welcome to Agents of Travel.
Yep.
And then what? We got a good one for you.
Yep.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Welcome to Agents of Travel. We've got a good one for you.
Rachel just rehearsed that, and I think you did pretty well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. We have a great guest this week, a friend of ours and a podcast king.
I would say podcast king.
Yeah?
Definitely royalty.
Yeah, he's somewhere in the
In between a prince and a king.
Yeah. What's in between a prince and a king?
I think it's like when the king is really old and might die anytime and you're the prince.
Wow, who's old and dying? I guess the rest of the podcast industry. He's the up-and-coming prince of podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
It's Jeremy Schmidt. He was our roommate for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So that may be why we go so easy on him.
Yeah, in the interrogation.
He's got all sorts of great podcasts out there. If you've ever listened to a video game podcast, there's a chance that it was one of his. Because he's got Video Game, a Comedy Show, VGAS. That's his main one. But then there's others in the universe. So like Call Me by Your Game. I think he's not on it, but it's in his...
He like produces it, or it's like in his podcast sphere?
But like the Video Game, a Comedy Show is his main one, I believe. VGAS.
And you can also see him on Mod Night at UCB, where he is a writer.
Yeah.
For the team Love Seat. Which is a sketch team at UCB.
Yes.
You can catch them every odd Wednesday.
Yes.
At UCB.
Uh-huh. And all of his podcasting endeavors.
And he also check out his short films.
Yeah, he's got great short films.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to find those. Where do you find any short films? Nobody is allowed to release their short films these days because festivals. Rachel's in the middle of this with her short film, Me Night. Where
wow, this plug for Jeremy turned into a plug for Rachel.
This is an intro for Jeremy.
Yeah.
This isn't plugs for Jeremy.
You hear that, Jeremy?
Jeremy, well, we've spent enough time plugging Jeremy. Let's plug Rachel. But yeah, no, I mean, you can't find them anywhere because no festival wants to put up a short that you can find online already. So that's why you can never find anybody's shorts online.
All right, so this is going to be a great episode.
Yeah, let's kick it over to the interview with Jeremy Schmidt.
I was looking at the Rescue's Instagram page, and I saw Adelaide on it, and I saw the whole sob story that like Adelaide had gone to a couple of pet adoptions and not been adopted. And I was like, oh, Jackie got nailed.
Yeah. You want to be able to save them all, you just can't. So I recommend just staying off of all of the different accounts. But yeah.
This is really fun right now, this conversation.
This is really fun right now.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm having fun.
Yeah.
But before we get deeper into this conversation, I just need to admit something to you, Jeremy. We've been friends for a while.
Yes.
We've adopted another blind dog.
Oh, no, really?
No. Even better.
Yeah. We are secret agents.
What?
We're secret agents, not like spy, not like cool spy. I mean, it's cool.
It's actually very cool.
It's very cool for the National Tourism and Travel Office.
And that's not a governmental body.
It is.
It is a governmental body.
But just barely.
Just barely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the less like cops you sound, the better. So this sounds way not spy espionage.
Well, this
type
will actually
stuff.
help once I tell you what our actual names are.
Yeah.
I'm not Rachel.
Oh.
I'm Secret Agent Pannekuchen, which is a Dutch pancake.
And I mean, I've told you I'm Garrett.
Yeah.
And I am Garrett.
Okay.
But I'm also secret agent sticky toffee pudding, which is my favorite dessert from the British Isles. And
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Well, hey, kudos to you guys.
Thank
I can't
you.
keep a secret to save my life. You guys have held this close to the vest for, what has it been? 10 years?
Yeah.
I just picked a high
Feels
number.
like it.
Yeah.
Feels like it.
Wow.
Well, so, but we're like trying to get our way up in the agency right now.
Yeah,
So
we're kind of like Barry, but in reverse, where
A
you
Benjamin Barry.
know, we're kind of a Benjamin Barry.
where we're trying to get deeper into the agency.
Yes,
Even
you
though you
started
know
in
us
an
as-
acting class.
Yes.
And you're going into secret agent. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
And so we're having to practice our interrogation technique.
Okay.
Are you cool if we interrogate you?
Yeah.
And it's interrogating you on your previous trips,
Sure.
vacations you've had.
Because our mission is to. I had it together for a second, and then you just completely
sorry.
undercut
I'm sorry.
it with
I'm
the wheeze. So our mission is to plan for you your dream trip, and
Yes.
we are competing for a promotion. So you will choose whether secret agent Sticky Toffee Pudding
Yes.
or I, secret agent Pinnakukin, has designed the best trip for you. And yeah, they're going to be doing evaluations at the end of this quarter.
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay. So far, who's winning?
I know we need to go back and count.
count?
I was winning for a while, but
Yeah.
Rachel's been catching up. She might have surpassed me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So truly anyone's game.
Anyone's game
Anyone's
right
game.
now.
All right.
Don't
Yeah.
be biased towards one person or another, except by whose personality you like better.
Yeah. Right.
No. Don't take that into account. Don't take
Oh,
personality.
this person's sending me to Siberia, but I think they're funny.
Crazy thing is, I've recommended everybody go to
Siberia?
Siberia.
Yeah.
People were cold on it, and then they got hot on it.
Literally cold.
Yeah.
I've heard.
So-
Well, I'm excited.
And also, we'll design this dream trip for you, but we don't have money to actually send you on it yet. Maybe, hopefully, someday in the future we may. Who knows?
Sure. Yeah. But my dime.
Yeah.
For
Great.
now, you're dime.
Yeah. Great.
now.
Okay. Yeah. Well, this is a real thing, but I'm gonna be jobless in a month, and I've been
Okay.
thinking about
You can't work at the agency.
no,
taking a trip.
taking a trip,
Very cool.
taking a me trip.
Oh.
Whoa, solo?
Well, or maybe.
No, but
Maybe meat trip.
I think meat trips are the best.
Yeah.
I've done several meat trips.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've done a single me trip for
Okay.
a week. It was great, but I was so tired.
Okay. Yeah. What were you doing on the trip?
I was in who's intriguing who here?
Okay.
But I will
No.
say I was in Madrid and Sevilla, and I was really excited to be speaking Spanish and stuff.
Yeah.
And my brain just completely crashed. Like, I got pretty good at Spanish, and then it's like my mental exhaustion just like blew out the system, and I couldn't understand anything or anyone,
Yep.
and just like fell asleep in parks in Madrid after that.
Wow. And you brought up something I hadn't considered, that if you're trying to do the language part,
Yeah.
that is going to be energy.
Yes.
It's a lot of
yeah,
energy.
right?
Yeah.
And it's maybe fun, good energy, and good for you, but
Yes.
it also comes at a tax.
I was
Yes.
also staying with like somebody's like older, like 70-year-old dad for a while who only spoke Spanish, and then with their like friend in Madrid who only spoke Spanish. So like I feel like if you're traveling alone, you would almost have an easier time
Oh, sure.
than
Okay.
like staying with people who
Yeah.
only speak the language.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but I mean, I would, yeah, but we'll see where this
Okay.
takes us.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
we'll see.
But
we'll see.
that would be,
This is all
I would
good
be
to know.
very nervous to go to a country that didn't speak English alone. So
Okay.
Ah.
that's
okay.
that's very, brave, and I did admirable.
Yeah.
Admirable.
Yeah.
I'll say admirable.
Take it.
I was flying into a country once, and the person sitting next to me was like, "Wait, do you speak French or Bambara?" Which is,
Yeah.
And I was like, "No."
No.
And they're like, "Good luck."
Yeah. I think, we'll get into it, but
Yes.
yeah, I think I would do it
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay.
Okay.
First question.
Yeah.
Jeremy.
Right.
What was the first trip that turned you on to travel?
The first trip that turned me on to travel. I never left the country until I was 21, which I guess looking back is not that.
That's pretty good still.
Yeah, not that young.
Oh.
Or I'm sorry, not that old.
Yeah.
But I felt
No.
at the time everyone I knew had gone to at least Mexico. I lived in Texas at the time. And I got a chance to go to Sierra Leone, West Africa, with a nonprofit organization. And what that trip did was it threw me into the deep end of travel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like you didn't go to London and you were like, this is kind of like what I know, but slightly different.
Yeah.
It was like, welcome to travel, bitch.
Yes, exactly. And it was 14-hour plane rides
Yeah.
to layovers and biplanes to take another 12-hour flight. And again, I would meet people there who spoke the language, but getting there, I didn't speak the language. I think I had to fly into Holland or something like that, or Amsterdam or something like that. And I just remember I made that choice of like, I could just die on this, and that's kind of okay, and that's kind of cool. And I think it's a weird thing of once you just go, you know what, I can't just be afraid of everything that's gonna come and hit me. You start to embrace every part of, if it's discomfort or whatever. And that was such a great experience, not just for my future of traveling, which now I absolutely love doing, but just in general, like roughing it in LA, roughing it all the time, because, a lot of people can't rough it. They can't do it because it's too hard. And I think the older you get without having those experiences, the harder it might get. So that's got me into travel. And I've never gone somewhere that maybe extreme or like, let's say dangerous again.
Yeah.
But I definitely have taken that spirit with me. So it's,
because that was my experience on my like first year trip that I did. Was I was just like, I told myself I was following the fear.
Yeah.
Which was like, I don't know, back in the early 2000s was something they taught at UCB.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Improv is life.
Improv is life.
That was instead of don't think, it was follow the fear.
That was like one of the things some teachers were saying.
Yeah.
And I was like, and yeah, it really is like freeing when you're like, because I was like, yeah, I could die.
Yeah.
Like who knows what will happen. And, it took me a while when I first got to the place I was going. I was just like, what have I done?
Yeah.
But it took like, how long did it take you to adjust to Sierra Leone? Like, were you hitting the ground running? Or?
Yeah, I had to hit the ground running. I was a videographer, so cool. I was, and I maybe that helped because I was like behind a camera or like had a lens, but also not because we were going into places that were hostile and stuff. So I guess like it was pretty much I remember on the plane ride though, just being like, I'm 21, I'm going, I booked the trip because my girlfriend wanted to do this, and now we broke up.
So wait, was she on the trip or no?
Yes, I was going.
Oh my God.
And she had cheated on me with this woman named Lindsay, and they were dating, and I was going to meet them.
What?
And it just the way it timed out, like they had started this, and then everything got booked already, and then I was already the videographer for it. It was connected kind of to the school, UNT.
Okay.
And I remember that at one point they were even kind of like, you don't have to come. And I was like, I'm going.
You were 21.
Yeah. I was 21 and hate fueled. So I was like, I am going to do this. And so I was on the plane right there. I was just like, I just shed a lot of things, hang-ups and stuff on that plane ride. And it's cool. You become sort of an alley cat instead of a house cat or something. You become like scrappy, and you're able to adjust and adapt easier.
Yeah, like is there a scrappy thing you did that you can think back on, or where you're like, I'm really scrapping now?
Yeah. Well, one thing was there was no because of where we were at in Sierra Leone. It's this it's called Crew Bay. It's like a little it's horrible. It's like one of the most impoverished places in the world. It's basically Sierra Leone kind of runs down into the water, and the place Crew Bay is at the bottom of the water. It's like kind of on the coast, and all of the trash from Sierra Leone, like Freetown and stuff, that rolls into Crew Bay. So it's just like a city of trash kind of. Wow. But because it's so much water everywhere, there's no printers, there's no like paper, there's no paper-based anything. So I couldn't print my like ticket to get back on the plane to get home. It was like 2 cities away. And so I just like in a panic at the airport, unable to print at the airport. I just like, there was a guy there and he was like, hop on the back of my motorcycle. Yeah. And he drove me through the jungle 2 towns away
to print out
a ticket.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And it's like Return of the Jedi when they're on those speeders and there's just like trees like zip, 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 like zipping by. That was like the journey to get there. And I just remember thinking like, this is so cool. This is so cool. Like,
and then it's like, because I've been in like situations, and you're like, your first instinct is like, no, I should say no.
Yeah.
And like,
I'll figure it out.
Like this is not a good idea.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I don't know, for me, I had to kind of get like, oh, I need to let go of that instinct.
Yeah.
I think it's also, I hope I didn't talk about this last time, but it's also like the best parts of travel are like the happy accidents.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, that's a thing in painting I'm learning right now. Like you have this vision of how you think the painting will go, and I'm doing it and I'm not very good. And I'm like, fuck, this isn't working how in my mind it was supposed to look. Like this yellow and green are getting all fucking over the place. And then I'm painting lemons right now. But then like something cool will happen where it's like, oh, this stroke actually looks really interesting. I never would have done this intentionally, nor could I have executed that if I had tried. So it's like, I feel like travel's kind of that way too, where it's like all the best things are the things that like you didn't plan.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, sometimes I think you can get kind of lucky and like, I don't know, the museum you booked ends up being the highlight of the thing, but so often it's not,
it's almost like the junk you're putting in there, the Mona Lisa junk you're putting in to like,
the filler,
that crap. Yeah, you put in filler so that you can hopefully like trigger those other moments to happen.
Yeah, and if you're traveling with people too, a lot of times that might be connected to an experience you're having, a shared moment with somebody, and it could be as simple as that guy on the bike we saw, or the sunset we saw, or whatever.
How long were you in Sierra Leone for?
8 days.
And were you like during it? Were you like, my life is different now? Afterwards, were you like, oh, that changed me? Or when did you like? Yeah.
It was like afterwards on coming home. I just remember thinking like, that was a bad experience. Like what we were doing over there was really misguided as like a nonprofit.
Yeah.
And I remember, and that was like and I was 21 and very concerned, self-absorbed and concerned with only me and my own life in college and whatever. And I remember coming back just being like, that didn't seem smart.
Yeah.
And like that being the first time like geopolitics ever sort of like washed across my brain, and then would like sit there for many years until I would sort of become a little bit more knowledgeable about world events and things actually going on.
And like foreign aid, the effects of foreign aid.
Just the idea that you would go into another country and be like, we're going to help you.
Yeah.
And like, it just came off really tacky, and it became very clear
that
how
it wasn't
tacky.
help.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But, me going to just help out with that, and also kind of following like love out there, was like, I did feel a little better about coming home being like, well, that wasn't really my idea.
Yeah.
You're like, actually, I was just there to spite somebody,
Yeah.
so I wasn't even genuine in wanting to help anyway.
And speaking of spite, I never gave them any of the footage. Which is a whole other crazy story. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I never gave them because I felt like they didn't help me on the trip at all to like get there, and they were being very demanding about it. And at one point they were threatening to sue me.
Oh my God.
And I was just, and I'm such a shithead. I'm like 21 and I'm like, I bet they can't. And I was just like, and so I just was like, nope, not giving it to you. And then they would start to barter with me and whatever. And it was like, and I think the main I've never shown the footage. I've never given the footage out. I think the main reason why they wanted it was just to get rid of it, because they didn't want.
Oh, wow.
So they realized that what they were doing was.
Yeah, because the area we were in, they wouldn't even let like, Nat Geo in there. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they wouldn't even you had to know somebody and everything. So, and I just didn't feel like they were going to use it for anything good. Like, they weren't going to, it wasn't, what they were doing wasn't good. It wouldn't have been good. And since that, like, everyone's disbanded from that whole thing. It's done now.
But. That was a big first trip.
Garrett's really nailing the tone for these segues.
Yeah.
Big first.
I mean, I'm curious to see now this next question, how it follows it up. Tell us a story about your best trip.
Yeah. Best trip. I went to Paris last year, and I hate to follow a story about something like that with like actually going to the most wealthy city in the world is the ticket. But like, it was beautiful, and just we went around Valentine's Day, and just if you appreciate old things, like it's a really cool city to go around and look at old stuff, and I got a huge kick out of it.
Well, and I feel like from my research, I understand that Jackie, it's almost like perfect for you guys. You guys love food, you love smoking a cigarette, and you love like art and artists and like all of that stuff. So it feels like I feel like you guys are both two romantic people, so it makes sense that you'd like a romantic city. Yeah,
absolutely. It is it was a kind of trip that I had never really taken before, like a kind of vacation that, it was, again, it's in Europe. So it was my first time in Europe, really. And, just like, I got to see a lot of the locations of famous films that I love. And I got to, eat at a lot of places I'd heard about, and saw the Mona Lisa. And,
she's petite.
She's small. She's smaller than you might think. But yeah, I mean, all in all, like, that was just such a and the trip just flowed. I remember it just flowing really nice. I mean, we got jet lagged right away, but then, it would be like, oh, we're going to see the catacombs and go here. And it just moved in a nice pace, and we didn't feel too, hey, we're not doing enough. You ever been on a trip, you're just like, we're not doing enough. We got to do more. Well,
Paris is great because, like, so many people are just sitting and drinking coffee. Yeah. And so it's like, that's what I should be. I should be doing that.
Yeah, that's actually cool. Like a cool thing where it's like, just by virtue of being around, like we all have a tendency to want to like mimic whatever people around us are doing. We like want to fit in. So being an American going to Paris and it being like, it's okay to relax with your croissant and a coffee. Actually, everyone's doing that. It's like, what luxury.
I know. It was so jinx. it is so luxurious too. And like, especially like, I mean, and like you see people working and you're like, oh man, that like, I kind of want to work here. Like it'd be cool to work here. Like, and you got the sense that like people, and I don't know this, but that people like, if they work at the cheese shop, they just like, they like love cheese and like maybe it runs in their family, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, that's so much better. Like, than, you know, coming from a city where no one's ever working the job they really want to be working or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But,
any happy accidents in Paris?
Yeah, we visited this taxidermy place that was like out of a Harry Potter movie where it just felt like you were walking through, you know, I don't know. It was like a museum of exotic animals taxidermied.
Yeah.
Like, and it's this famous place that I never heard of it, but yeah, it was like, it was incredible. They had like every bug and a lion and an elephant and all these different animals. And at first you're like, that sounds like macabre kind of. And it kind of is. It kind of had a weird dark vibe in there, but it was packed. People were like, people who lived there were coming to buy gifts for their
Whoa,
kids
like what
and
kind
stuff.
of gifts for your kid would you get?
You could get like, because so they would keep like smaller animals, they would keep in like glass framed like shadow boxes or whatever. And so you get like a full bat, just like a bat or like an exotic butterfly or moth, or those were a lot of the affordable ones.
Yeah. Were you guys tempted to get a souvenir from there?
I think Jackie did get something like a little beetle or something.
Little bug.
Yeah.
Have you never said that word before?
No. Bug.
Okay, well, what was... I was
no.
Keep Garrett, and then I was like, I've got to just do this really smoothly, and then I got in my head about it.
There's a reason we're junior secret agents.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We're working on the
We're
people-facing side of
Yes.
things.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jeremy, what's the tastiest thing you've eaten on a trip?
Oh man, I mean, so I keep.
This is gonna be good.
Yeah, I know.
So like the first time, one of the times we had downtime in Sierra Leone, we were on the beach, and they you just go to like these little beach shacks, restaurants, and get like your star beer or whatever, and they'll serve you just like a whole fish.
Yeah.
And like that. Like,
Damn.
Like I was just like, oh yeah, I do want to eat a whole fish and like see the fish.
Yeah.
Like see all the ingredients on the plate.
Yeah.
And then lo and behold, I'm in Paris and I just randomly order something off the menu, and what comes? It's a whole fish. It's just a whole fish. So tastiest thing is just a whole fish.
The whole fish.
A whole fish.
A whole fish that you it's different spices and different.
Yeah, but is it the taste, or is it even just like you feel like you're a cartoon cat?
Yeah.
I mean, there's the cartoon cat thing I really love about it, but the taste, when you're eating something that clean, it's just like it. To me, the taste is, you can't beat it. It's just so,
How do you eat it? Do you just stick the whole thing in your mouth and pull the bones out?
Yeah,
Okay.
kind of like that. Then you choke for a long time. No, you just go into it, and you kind of just, there's the head and the tail, and you just kind of go in there, and you got your sides or whatever, and you're picking bones out the whole time, but. Yeah.
But it's like a meal that's like really an activity. Like I feel like people who enjoy eating like crab or lobster, like you can tell part of it is like getting to use your hands on your food.
Yeah. The experience of it, is, and I think just eating a whole fish is something that, we don't do a lot here in the States.
No.
No. And the fact that I saw it sort of presented that way in 2 of my 3 out of the country experiences I've had led me to believe that I'm like, oh man, dining, can be about like clean eating. As in other countries, they treat it maybe more like, these potatoes are grown and not like super, whatever we eat here, they're like made of poison or whatever.
Yeah. They're not poison injected potatoes.
Right.
Well, and like, I feel like here it's like then the potato is dipped in batter and deep fried, and then like
there's
all
that.
these like covered in a sauce. And,
it's like you actually get to taste the real ingredient.
Yeah.
Because there's the ingredient has an actual flavor, not like here with.
Which is always like going to be my, especially if I do like a meat thing, which, treating that like a bit of an indulgence these days, but it's like I usually am like I don't want it to be like a burger all the time. Like if I'm gonna do a steak, I want it like not just the flavor of that. Try to enjoy that, I guess.
Do you consider yourself a food-based traveler when you travel? Like, is that like a thing you're looking forward to in a place?
Huge. I mean, this is like an easy silver medal, but we went to New Orleans and it was just a food time. It was just all about the food, and we couldn't wait for the next meal to come.
Enough big fish? Any big fish?
Not a big fish, but a lot of like the fried stuff, but that's done there.
Yeah,
in this sort of. In this way that it's just not something you're going to get here necessarily.
Yeah. It's like, oh, this is the specialty, though. Like, you got to have their best dish.
Every place has, like, okra and, like, so, any kind of, like, shrimpy type, and I do like other foods other than fish, but.
I know you're talking a lot about fish. I don't believe you.
That's a good seafood town, too. New Orleans.
I know.
It really is, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go to the next question now. And this next question is, what tourist attraction do you feel lived up to the hype?
Would you consider a museum to be a tourist attraction? Then I would say, oh, man. I would say the Louvre.
Bitch.
Yeah. I know. It just we didn't see it all because you can't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I could have slept there. I just loved it. I just thought it was, and I'm not a big museum guy at all. Like,
what did you love about
what were
it?
The exhibits that popped?
I guess it was like first it was all of it was either Greek or Roman statues, like so this court of statues.
Yes.
Yeah.
My favorite is Winged Victory. I don't know if you saw her there. She's like this headless, armless, like
Nike, right?
Nike, yeah.
That sounds familiar.
I agree. I was thinking I'm always so impressed with that stuff because the way they're able to make marble look like a veil or clothing or anything, I'm like, this is insane.
Yeah, like
wind-blown
clothes.
Yeah.
Like that. And by hand too. Just crazy.
And so smooth.
So smooth.
Yeah.
So smooth.
So what else besides that though? Because it sounded like you were gonna say something else.
Oh well, I was either gonna say that or MoMA, like in New York.
Is
great. But I was just trying to pick which museum because those are the ones that have really surprised me. And I think it's just because I think I'm always gonna be bored when I go to a museum, and then I'm delightfully not bored or whatever, So that definitely lived up to the hype,
That's so funny. Like, do you just associate museums with boredom from like a few bad field trips?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think also just being like art as in painting, it feels I don't know if I get insecure about it because I don't know anything about what I'm looking at, but I definitely used to when I was younger when I had to know everything.
Yeah.
But now when I go in, now I can appreciate painting a lot more because I am just all about the experience of seeing it and what it means to me and stuff. But I think for a long time it was just that thing of like my attention span couldn't do the and when you get older too a little bit, like I'm 35, I'm not in my 20s anymore. You appreciate older stuff. It just starts to happen. You just start to and you consider time in a different way. You're like, geez, that really was a long time ago. You know,
This is good for our young fans to hear.
Yeah.
You'll get there.
It gets better.
Yes.
You gotta trade a shitty back for perspective.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I also I think I get most tickled by paintings where it's like, I usually have to read the plaque to get there. But like where it's clear the author was like throwing shade at somebody or like something weird's going on, or it's like a weird looking animal. Like I think I always like it when I'm like, oh, they were silly and petty back then too. And I love that.
It's cool to see like little devils hidden in like paintings where you're like, geesh, these guys were freaks back then. Yeah. They were just all freaks and culty weirdos.
Artists are freaks no matter what era you're in.
It's true.
Yeah. And thank goodness.
Yes.
Too. Thank goodness.
Jeremy, I've got a question you're really going to love.
Okay.
What has been your biggest fish out of water moment? And it can't be any of the meals you had. Okay.
I think definitely it's hard to top that first one. Because again, like the idea of like, oh, we have to go to the store and we have to do it by canoe. Like that being like, wow, like we are really not in Kansas anymore. Moment. Definitely fish out of water. And and it wasn't like, I was always like, so, I don't know what I thought going over there. It was like, people had iPhones. It wasn't like that, but it was just like, no, it's just like because of the geography, this boat is like better. It's faster.
Yeah.
That was definitely,
So it was a moment where you were in water.
Yeah. I was in water feeling
like a
fish out of water. Yeah.
There's a poetry there.
Mm-hmm. I was out of water.
But you were on top of the water.
I was soaring across the water. I was a fish soaring across the water. Yeah.
Okay. This may be
Yeah.
Okay.
He's ramping up.
Jeremy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
If you could step into any moment from your travels, anytime you wished, just like flick it on and you're in there and you're back out, which quintessential perfect moment would you pick?
Oh. It would be we had a really fortunate thing where Jackie knew, recommended the perfect hotel for us in Paris that was like off the beaten path but beautiful and cheap and stuff. And it was like one of those like, oh, what a steal.
Yeah.
And of course across the alley was like one of the best restaurants that's also a very Parisian, like they know about it, not touristy. And I think it was just that experience of going across, getting dressed up, going across the street, walking across the street, and then eating all the delicious food and wine. And it was probably that. It definitely food related.
Yeah.
And ambiance and sort of tone and vibe,
And was there an aspect of like you're across the street from it? This is like your spot.
Yeah.
Like you get to live in this spot. For a moment.
Because I will say a silver medal is easily walking to the cafe down the street and writing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like and doing it early, like 6 a.m. You get up. You go get a coffee, and everything, of course, is bread. So you get like a croissant or a chocolate croissant, and then you write in the cafe, and you get a couple cappuccinos, and you write. I would smoke a cigarette and sort of, and it's really crisp in the morning, and like that's an easy silver medal too.
Yeah.
Did anybody mistake you for a Parisian man?
No, no, but also nobody was like, nobody was probably even noticed me. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Unless it was a waiter or something. You know what I mean? Because people just go, and that was another. I have a window spot as the sun's sort of rising, and I'm seeing the kids go to school, and you're just like, and you're there and you feel like, your favorite French writer, you feel like that.
Yep.
I feel like that's speaking to too, like when on the first couple of trips I went on, I was in such a rush to try to see everything. I feel like I missed out on those slow moments, which are almost even better, which is like, it's always so nice to see like life happening, like for other people. Like there is, when Garrett and I went to Japan, like we are walking around this area, there weren't that many people, and all of a sudden we see all these like little 3 or 4-year-old kids wearing matching hats running around in like a field. And they're like just out there playing. They would each have like one adult who was looking after them. And when they were done, they would all pile up into a cart that like adult would push away. And they're all just like standing in this cart with their little like pink heads poking out. And it was just so happy.
That's great.
It was great. There would be like different clumps of matching hats. So they'd be like
different classes,
bright green, bright pink.
Yeah.
And it's just like, they'd all run to their,
I love this. These guys rock.
Yeah.
They do rock.
Yeah. That's cool though. But yeah, I think that's true. Like, you learn after, I think, doing a handful of trips, like you don't want to Disneyland it. Like you don't want to like, I got to do all the rides. Like you got to, the best is if you can feel like you live there even for an hour.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it.
You don't have to go and see the Eiffel Tower up close.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. We saw. We were there. We were. Our street was like Eiffel, and it was like we saw the Eiffel. We were like we could see it from our window, and it lit up at night. We kind of ate by it and stuff, but there was so much we could have done, and there was also opportunities in Paris for us to like go to neighboring Portugal or wherever else and go see other, and we just decided no, because me and Jackie now have gotten this pretty down where we're like, like 4 or 5 things we'll keep our eye on and plan, but for the most part, let's walk around, let's go shop, let's go try weird stuff. Like we also like we tried French pizza and it was like terrible.
Was it?
Yeah, it just like wasn't good at all. We were like, well, we tried it.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. What was it like though?
It was just kind of like eating kind of it would be like going to like a trendy new bad pizza place in Silver Lake or something.
Gotcha. Where you're like, the sauce isn't popping.
It's not popping. The crust is like, it's like too thin and flaky or something.
Okay.
It's like not like, I don't know.
Because there is, it's I think it's called flambe. I can't remember, but it's flakier crust.
Yeah,
and it's like I would see it in the south of France a lot. Like and it's like it's like a certain style of pizza, and it's
did you have some?
I did. Yeah.
Any good?
I enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah. It could also
it might have been where I was too.
And pizza's a thing that you could get a bad you could order the wrong pizza too. You can order the pizza you just don't like, you know.
But I think it's also fun to I feel like pizza is a really good food for that, where like no matter what country you're in, you should always get a pizza because it will like always be different.
Yeah, right.
And their take on like what they think a pizza is, because even our pizza is fucked up by traditional pizza standards.
Yes.
I am of course.
And
Little Caesars? That didn't come out that way?
I feel bad for any Italian who
I know.
tries Little Caesars.
Yeah. And pizza is always something, if I'm on the road for a long time, that's the first thing I want. And it's also the first thing you can find like in a big city somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like I'm never going to find nachos or like burritos outside of, North America. But pizza is everywhere.
It was tricky too in France because they're not a big vegetable place.
Yeah.
Like a lot of dishes don't come with vegetables. We were craving vegetables when we got home because everything was bread and meat and cheese and dairy for the most part.
Yeah.
And even if you would get vegetables on something, it'd be like very small amounts, very small portions of them. So pizza was kind of a weird thing because it's like, typically you think of vegetables and pizza kind of go together, but whatever we got, it was just slimy maybe too. I'm vaguely remembering or something, and it was supposed to be a pretty good place too.
Really?
Damn.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Well, Jeremy.
Yes.
Is there a custom you've observed while traveling that you've implemented into your daily life or you wish you'd implemented?
Yeah. I suppose that one that I've implemented that we're not sold on if this is good.
Okay.
But I responded very well to New York City.
Okay, yes.
And the pace that people tend to operate in New York, I really it was my beat. It was like it flowed with me and clicked in a way where I was like, I want to be walking as fast as everybody.
Yes.
I want to be ordering as fast as everybody. So that is sort of one that I've taken is this New York rush to do things. And Jackie does not love that. Jackie wants to, let's see what the menu has.
Yeah.
Let's not eat that fast, let's, but I've definitely, I really loved, I just felt at home with the beat of that.
How long were you in New York for?
I've been, you go for like a weekend here, weekend there, week here, week there. I've been about 4 or 5 times in my life. I've never spent like months in New York, which would be awesome, but never been able to.
I know. I'm kind of surprised you ended up in LA over New York.
Yeah.
Because you feel more of a New York boy.
Yeah.
And I think I would have definitely thrived in New York, and maybe one day, I always think one day maybe I'll get a project or something will come across my desk and I'll get a chance to go live there for a while or try it out or but it would have to take a job. And I do think like New York is just, even for someone who loves it, is just generally intimidating.
Yeah.
When you're like, if the idea of like, I'm going to go start out there, start something new out there. Like LA feels a little less intimidating, I think, because you're like, well, there's trees. You know what I mean? And you're like, well, there's like space and like you can like, there's cars, you can drive around, you're not so stuck or whatever.
Yeah.
New York feels like kind of maybe a little bit more hostile, a little bit more
imposing,
rough, oppressive, a little bit. Yeah. But I also just love like the New Yorker sensibility in terms of their sense of community, which can be, I think, a little rough at times. Yeah. But it's also very protective of their own. And that's maybe a little bit how I was raised too. So that's probably why I'm attracted to it. But that is a custom. I've kind of quickness of pace. Yeah.
And maybe, New York is like, feels like who you are, and LA is like who you could become.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And that's the thing though, is I do love LA. I love it. I truly do. Yeah.
But it's like almost like a challenge in like living a slower way of life or in slowing down.
Totally.
Am I forcing this?
No. Yeah. It's a challenge also in acceptance too, of like there's a lot of personality types that rub me the wrong way in LA.
Yes.
That has been good for me to learn to not judge so harshly and
so Jeremy, we have some surprise questions.
Okay.
That we did not send you ahead of time.
Perfect.
But they're rapid fire.
Okay, great.
So that's just going to be...
Don't think.
Don't think.
Yeah.
As they say at UCB.
Yes, as UCB says.
I will follow the fear.
Follow the fear. Yeah. But before I ask these, I have one other question. Yeah. Earlier, you mentioned that you've been out of the country 3 times, and that you've talked about 2 of the places you went out of the country. What was the 3rd place you went?
I did finally go to Mexico.
Okay, cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Jackie and I, we did a little, and it wasn't very far into Mexico. It was, sort of on the border, and we stayed in, a kind of a resorty place with her family, and, cool. And if we'd have done this in October, this is a long time. Apparently, we're all doing a Amsterdam cruise.
Oh,
the in-laws.
Yeah.
We're all gonna go do that. So
that'll be fun.
That will be fun.
Yeah.
So we'll see how
that
goes. But
we'll have to have an addendum.
An addendum. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So these will be either or. First thing that comes to your head for the answer. Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Hot or cold?
Cold.
City or country?
City.
Beer or wine?
Ooh, wine.
History or scene?
What?
Do you want to be an old place or a pop-in place with discotheques and stuff?
Oh, history.
Or I always saw it as you want to go to the historical landmarks, or do you want to be a part of the culture there?
Oh,
that's It feels like a judgment. Like, would you rather go see live music or go to a museum?
Oh, live music.
Okay. This is where clubs or cafes.
Cafes.
Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Fancy or casual?
Casual.
Fast or slow?
Fast.
Yeah.
Dogs or cats or cows or monkeys?
Let's do
Don't think.
dogs.
Okay.
Let's do dogs.
All right.
Cows or monkeys? I want to pick cows.
I know.
Cows are cool.
Those are really sweet.
They're really nice.
There's only really one place where there's cows like all over the place.
Right,
So
yeah.
It would kind of.
Yeah.
We'd send you to India then.
Yeah. Cowtown.
Yep.
Cowtown, yeah.
Okay, so we are going to take a second.
India would be fucking awesome. Though.
Yeah, I know.
It would be awesome.
I know.
It's on my list.
Yeah.
God. Okay, we're going to take a second.
Okay. Yeah, you guys deliberate. Where's the favorite place you guys have been?
Oh my God, nobody's ever asked us that.
Can you think and answer at the same time?
Well, I think I'm going to include. I think I'm going to. One of my favorite places, I think, is going to be my pitch.
Oh, your pitch. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Could it be a shared favorite place?
Do you guys
What do you
have the
mean?
shared favorite place? Well, that's
No,
cool.
I don't. No, it's no. Okay, I think I can go ahead and jump into mine.
All right.
Um,
Be careful.
I know. Okay.
Cautious. You never know what could happen.
Okay. All right. Jeremy.
Yes.
I have my pitch for you for where I would send you if you were to choose me as your secret agent tour guide.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to send you to Lebanon.
Okay. Wow.
For, say 2 weeks.
Oh.
And I'm going to send you, I think it's sometime in the winter, so it's not going to be too hot.
Okay.
And you'll be based in Beirut.
Oh, great.
Okay. And for this will be sometime in the future once inflation is curtailed there.
Okay.
So it's
So right now it's kind of skyrocketing.
right now, yes.
Okay.
It's not the best time to go to Beirut right
Gotcha.
now. But so I'm gonna send you in the winter. You'll be based in Beirut.
Yeah.
Every morning, you're gonna go to Cafe Eunice.
Oh, great.
Which is it's where all the students, all the professors hang out. Everybody's out on the patio writing.
Love it.
And
great.
it's just great coffee.
Perfect.
It's just a really beautiful scene. Lots of scholars. and
Okay, great.
intellectuals.
Yeah.
It's like a place where like people will pull up tables and like you'll see a circle of people talking.
Great.
Some people make it into like radical conversations, you know, but
Yeah.
that's where
Clothes
you're going to be.
get shed.
Yes. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
no, not quite. And you want to talk about food?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Then I want to talk about food to you. You're going to be eating, do you like falafel?
Yeah.
Do you like kebabs?
Oh, yeah. Great. Yeah.
I mean,
Lebanese food is great.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lebanese food, I think, can't be topped.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be on the city streets, on the street corners. There will be marouche vendors that are just
Okay.
making like flatbreads. It's just they have balls
That's
of dough and they make
great.
flatbreads and then
Yeah.
toss all sorts of stuff in it and wrap it up like fresh, hot flatbread
Oh,
with like
man.
this beautiful stuff in it.
And I'm hungry right now,
I
too, and that's
know.
a big problem. with
Yeah.
this, yeah.
You can go as much as you want. I only went once a week to this hummus spot
Oh, great.
because it was just you just get a big old bowl of hummus. You can't eat that every day. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe you can.
Yeah.
Maybe you can.
Right.
With just like a bunch of veggies on it and then like pita chips and like pitas. And it's just like a lot of people get ground beef on it.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm sending you in the winter is for the Zombo Festival.
Okay.
which is up.
Cool name.
I know. Mm-hmm. People run around chanting Zombo, and right. They are all. It's kind of like a carnival.
Okay.
But everybody's in just like face paint and wigs and like body paint.
Have you seen this?
No. I found out about it
Zombo
after.
Festival.
I missed Zombo, and it is one of my regrets.
Wow.
You'll go up to Tripoli, which is just like a couple hours away. So you'll go up for like the day and then come back, or maybe you'll spend the night in Tripoli. You'll also go down to, I think Tyre, which has an amazing, like walled, market. So just like the kind of like twists and turns and like hidden passageways with vendors and stalls and people sitting out drinking coffee, and talk about like people sitting around drinking coffee all the time.
Yeah.
Like inviting you to sit with them to, have coffee, have tea,
have a radical conversation.
Yeah. Down in Tyre, it will be a little more. It won't be Beirut.
As radical.
Beirut is more
right.
like they called it the Paris of the Middle East for a while. Tyre will be more like Muslim families, and they're part of their tradition is to like invite the traveler to sit with them.
Oh,
and have
great!
Have a coffee or a tea.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, the music scene in Beirut is great.
Oh,
there's
right,
lots of great bands to go to.
And there's the band Beirut.
There's the band Beirut,
yeah,
which I never heard when I was there. They never played them anywhere.
I bet
I don't know what's going
might
on.
Not be, yeah.
Yeah.
They might not even been there.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
I'll send you up to the Bekaa Valley, which is on the border with Syria, but it's a really beautiful valley full of it's very lush where everything grows. They grow all the food there, and it's just beautiful. Some wineries, you can go around some wineries there.
Wine,
yeah, good wine in Lebanon, and yeah, it's just like. It's just a beautiful city to hang out in because it's got all of these influences.
Yeah,
it's just like I thought of it as like just like they took all the Lego kits.
Yeah, right.
And like built a city out of all of the Lego kits. Yeah.
I mean, Rachel, that's gonna be pretty hard to top. I don't know. Lego Town.
Okay. Okay, so Jeremy, my man.
Yes, yes. Finally,
one.
Oh, dang it.
Okay, where I would like to send you is probably for 2 weeks as well. Is not that far away, but I want to actually send you, despite what I said earlier, to Spain.
Okay.
And and the reason why, despite my mental exhaustion, perhaps you will go with a Spanish speaker or somebody who can translate for you.
Sure.
Also, it's super accessible if you speak English too. I was playing at something. So you'll start off in Madrid, where you get to indulge in tapas culture. So every bar you go to will have like fun little dishes that you get for free.
All right. I like that.
It's also got a ton of incredible museums you can walk to. I'm pretty sure you can see like a lot of Pablo Escobar paintings.
Hey.
It's like really fucking cool. And it's also the kind of place where it's very easy to walk around. And it will be warm enough where you'll be like, ooh, I'm feeling a little hot. I need a sangria.
Great.
And you'll do that like 4 times in a day. And so you're walking around. Did I mess up? Is it not there?
Well, Pablo Escobar paintings?
Maybe.
Wait, who am I thinking of?
I think you're thinking Picasso.
Pablo Picasso?
Probably Pablo
Escobar is the drug lord.
I was like, maybe Rachel's into like some John Wayne Gacy paintings as well, like kind of like freak stuff.
Who am I thinking? The guy who does the like? It is probably Pablo. Okay,
Picasso.
I've seen these in person.
Yeah,
and I'll say it's by the drug lord.
Yeah, you're like, a Pablo Escobar painting might just be a mountain of cocaine. Yeah.
that you blow onto a canvas. Yeah. Okay. So a lot of like really cool paintings. You're going to be a little sweaty, but a little tipsy at all times.
Great.
With like nice, refreshing drinks and a lot of like awesome seafood.
Yeah.
There's going to be like paella, patatas bravas, those really good potatoes. And then I also, and you'll have mornings with churros and chocolate.
Oh,
which is very fucking fun.
That's good.
That's good breakfast.
So I would also like to send you, boy, Garrett's going to call me out. Is the...
that as every good boyfriend should.
Yeah, right. Escobar's a funny one, though.
I know. I had.
That's fair. That's
Were
fair.
you thinking of Frida Kahlo's?
No.
Oh.
Her husband?
Yeah,
Diego Rivera.
That is who I was thinking of.
Oh.
Yeah. His murals would be there.
Gotcha.
He's got some murals there that are really cool.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, so we got to the bottom of it. So you would also see, I would also send you to see Sagrada Familia, which is in
Barcelona.
Beach town.
Yeah.
And this is like a super impressive architectural marvel, a super old ass church that's really impressive. And then I'm so nervous Garrett's going to correct me. And then
Go ahead.
And then I would also really want to send you to, it's called Gaudi's Park Güell.
I don't know how to, but it's awesome.
It's so cool. It's like basic Gaudi.
I think so.
Like John Gaudi.
Gaudi.
It's like a city of mosaics. It's like crazy. So it's like all these brilliant colors and it's like tons of buildings. It's so cool. But most importantly, this isn't most importantly. Another thing I want to add is Spain is really cool because it's the convergence of a ton of cultures. So you'll see a lot of like Moorish architecture. The Romans came through there. Like there's a lot of like different periods in Spain's lifespan, and that's reflected in the architecture, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So, and I'll also send you to drink a ton of wine at La Rioja because Spain has some of the best wine in the world. Big wine country.
Yeah.
The thing I'm most excited about is I also found a really cool festival for you to attend.
Okay.
It's at the end of August, and it's called La Tomatina.
La Tomatina.
It takes place in the town of Buñol near Valencia.
Okay.
And in it, thousands of people throw ripe tomatoes at each other.
Oh.
It is a citywide tomato fight.
Whoa.
I know. I've always
Yeah.
wanted to go to this.
It's
There's a lot of cities that do stuff like this.
Yeah,
where
yeah.
they'll,
why don't we have more stuff
Yeah.
like
I know.
that?
Gilroy should have a garlic throwing festival.
Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa
Yeah.
Gilroy.
She should have a garlic throwing festival.
Yeah.
No vampires invited.
Yeah.
No.
No.
They couldn't if they wanted. Yeah.
So it's going to be like overall like a lot of cool architecture, amazing art,
Yeah.
wine,
Right.
great weather, and getting to throw tomatoes at each other.
Oh.
So that's kind of like the trip I think you would like.
These are both. Yeah.
These are great
love
pitches.
Spain. I
They're
love Spain.
Great pitches. I gotta say, Garrett,
Yes.
Lebanon,
Yes.
your pitch,
Yes.
beautiful.
Thank you.
It really sort of captured exactly what I'm looking for in a trip. Like exactly.
Okay.
I am gonna go with Spain.
Oh, what? I knew it.
Because-
I knew it.
Just because it's on my bucket. It's on my bucket list, so I want to go Spain. Yeah. And I'll probably, I want to cross it off, but
Yeah.
I've never even considered.
I think Lebanon. It's
Lebanon.
one of my favorite places I've ever been.
That's
Like people
I
are
forgot
sleeping on it.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Is
I
what
mean,
you're
again, right now is not
It's
a
not
time
a
to
good
go.
time,
But
yeah.
one of my favorite things also I forgot is just the call to prayer.
yeah.
5 times a day, the whole city erupts in song.
Yeah, this is gonna be something I'm gonna probably be watching out
Yes.
for. Putting it on. Now it's going on the bucket list.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
At least I got on the bucket.
You're on the bucket list.
Okay.
Lebanon's not on the
That's
bucket
pretty
list. I mean, the way it was pitched too just sounds so.
I know Garrett did such a
beautiful.
good job with
Yeah.
talking about the intellect. He really created a scene. I felt, I'll be honest, a little more scattered, but I was also like, "What's Paris?" But a little different.
And I will say, you didn't mention anything about bowls.
No, because I thought the tomato festival
Yeah.
was more cool.
That's pretty good. Yeah. But I have heard that there's a running of the bulls.
Yes. Are you interested in that?
Yeah, I thought you might not be
I know,
interested.
yeah.
I don't think I am, but
Okay.
I do. I am surprised you didn't bring it up because I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah,
I was like, I know one thing about Spain, really.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I saw it and I was like,
Toro.
I was like, that's cool, but I'm also like, people get really hurt. And
That's
I
true.
would personally be stressed out by that. But
Yeah.
the tomato festival, I was like, I've never heard of this, and it sounds like exactly like what I'd want.
Yeah.
Yeah, PETA, I think, also does a running of the nudes in Spain.
Oh.
It's
Really?
around the same time. Yeah, it's like as a protest of running.
Oh, that's cool.
Dang, and do they chase a bull around?
I don't know. I don't think they do. I think they just run naked.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
great.
I mean, Portland has the naked bike ride. I mean,
Oh, I
think-
didn't know.
yeah.
That's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
You say
gotta
every
get up to
Sunday?
Portland.
Every Sunday.
Every Sunday they have a naked bike ride.
It's just Garrett. But
Yeah.
yeah.
We have this here. It's me.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't wait
absolutely.
to have the funding to send you to Spain.
Oh,
So,
yeah, would be great.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
just,
we'll
you
get
know,
back to you.
keep me on that email chain.
Yeah,
When you start
we
getting
should.
the funding
Yeah.
for all these trips.
Yeah,
you
we've got
know.
a backlog to work our way through, but
Sure,
you're on,
yeah. What episode is this?
This is episode
This is our
10?
third of season 2.
Oh, I thought it was our fourth.
Third
But it is our third of season 2.
Oh, cool. Wow.
And
it's
did we have
fine.
6? Yeah, I think
Hey, 6 seasons in a movie.
6 seasons in the movie.
Yeah.
Community.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep. I could tell.
Yep.
Ready to look.
Yep.
Jeremy, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you
This
so
was
much.
such
It
a
was a
delight.
Of course.
Woo! That was Jeremy.
Yeah.
I really thought I had it. I built it towards something that, knowing Jeremy, having lived with Jeremy, I thought, I kind of knew his vibe.
I thought you were really descriptive and you painted a really
Thank
good
you.
picture. I think your pitch in and of itself was better than mine. I think I happened to sink his battleship in regards to countries that were on his list already.
Yeah.
I think his mind was made up just given off of what countries we said.
Yeah. And Lebanon may not be top of his mind. A lot of people don't think of going to Lebanon.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll get back in it. I'll get back in it soon. I hope. This is.
Hopefully.
I know. I have yet to win this season.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
Especially because you've traveled so much more than me and
I
you
know.
could literally name more countries than I can.
Let's try. No, not right now. We'll have a special episode to see if who can name more countries. It'll be very fun.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah, people will love it. Check out Jeremy. Check out his work. Check out his podcast, Video Games, a comedy show, and his Instagram. He's on the,
He's on Instagram at
You can find out.
Jeremy Schmidt.
Scare Me Schmidt. All right. Thank you, everybody. We will see you next. You will hear us next week.
Bye.
Bye.